Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to 7.2.4 Destructive Feedback and Burden of Might. So by this time you should know what destructive feedback is. So at the start of the fight there is a kinetic shield on the opponent that absorbs all incoming damage, and if you get hit in your block or if you get hit anyway, all of that damage is returned to you. But if at the end of the shield there is no damage, you do not get tagged, all of that damage is given to the defender. And the shield has a 15-second cooldown as well. And the next node is going to be Burden of Might. So with Burden of Might, if you use champions with a lot of buffs, so every time a buff expires, your power will be drained 25% to your bar of power. So that keeps you, it's very hard for you to maintain power for yourself unless you bring in a champion that does not have many buffs, or you can play like a parry and heavy style. That will work. But to help you further on this path, there is another node by the name of Cut Your Losses. So anytime you are power drained by any source, you are going to get a fury buff on yourself, passively increasing your damage by 100% for 15 seconds. Now if you have superiority, those buffs can stack, and to get superiority you need underdog. So underdog is you use a class disadvantage champions against the defenders. So if you bring in cosmic and tech champions, that will give you superiority. And also to help further, there is going to be tech ascendancy in the node. So tech champions get 40% increased damage, and cosmic champions get 20% increased damage. And couple that with, if you use 6-star versions of those, you get extra damage which goes of 6-star power in 7.2. So this path looks difficult, but it's actually quite easy. We'll discuss in detail, but before we do, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications. All of that really helps me out a lot. So we're going to start off the path with Venompool. Now Venompool is quite a fun champion to go against. His special is quite easily evadable, but you need to be careful that he gets random buffs every now and then whenever he gains a bar of power. The most annoying ones can be lucky and can be unstoppable, and also damage return, so you need to be careful about those. Now you will notice that I'm going to use Ghost. I can also go to an SP2. So if you want to throw specials, you need to play with a parry and then hit and then into phase, so the defender can come and miss hits, and he can push you to 2 bars of power. If not, you want to get the Burden of Might into place, and you can dex more, and with the dex you will lose your power, and when you lose your power because of Cut Your Losses, you will gain passive fury, increasing your damage by 100% for 15 seconds. And because you'll be running class disadvantage, they can stack, so you can also go with those and stack 3-4 furies and go phase hit, and you can work like that as well. So Ghost is a really good option for the part. We will only use Ghost for this fight so we can showcase some other champions. So see you on the next defender. Now the next defender is going to be Guillotine or OG. Now she is also very easy to deal with. She has her SP1 and SP2 are easily available. If you notice on the top right corner, there is a grayed out icon that is for destructive feedback shield. Now right now the shield is down, so all I'm trying to do is to give her more damage, and she's taking full damage. And because I have a lot of buffs expiring on me, so I am draining my power, and whenever I get a power drain, I get those furies that increase my damage. And because I'm running class at disadvantage, they can stack because of superiority. Now you will notice right now the shield is active on her side on destructive feedback, and I am trying to stay away, and as soon as the shield expires, all of the stored damage is given back to the defender. But if the damage is stored and I get hit, or even if I block her hit, all the damage is thrown onto me as an attacker. So you need to be very careful and keep an eye on that timer on the shield. So right now it's again active, so I'm trying to stay back. Now I get an opening, I go back in, but I will try to stay away and not get hit at all, so all of that stored damage will be given back to her as a defender. But if I get tagged here, if I get hit, that damage is returned to me. So just be careful about the cycle, about the timing, and you will have her down easily, especially if you're running class disadvantage, and those passive furies will help you out a lot. Now next defender is going to be a Carnage. Now Carnage, again, his specials can be easily evaded. All you need to do is to play around the timer on that destructive feedback shield. Now because I am going to bring in a tech champion, I will get class disadvantage and that will trigger superiority, and I will do my best to get as much as Furies as possible, but because tech champions don't get many buffs, so it's a bit hard. But if you bring in a champion like Civil Warrior, he gets a lot of armors, and once they expire he can get a lot of buffs, so Civil Warrior works really well here. You can also bring in champions like Star-Lord or Ghost or even Rocket Raccoon, that their damage scales with Furies and a number of hits, so they work really well as well. All once you get the more Furies that increase your damage, you stack them and you can easily bring down defenders. So it's all about managing the destructive feedback shield. The defenders are pretty easy for this path. Next defender is going to be a Loki. Now this guy can be a bit tricky because remember, for if he's duped he will gain 1 bar of power, just like Doctor Strange, that he doesn't need to get hit to gain power. So for until 1 bar of power he can easily gain it. Now imagine you're hitting him and you're hitting into his destructive feedback shield and just throws an SP1 and it hits you. Even if you block it, it's going to do damage to you. So always keep an eye on his bar of power. If he has a bar of power, just stay away, let him throw it, or if he has a bar of power, do not hit during his destructive feedback phase, and then you can easily block it out as well. I am using Angela. Now Angela has a lot of expiring buffs and everything, and she loses a lot of power, so the number of Furies he gets is it's a lot, like 6, 7, even 8 Furies, so that gives me around 800% extra damage, and I can easily kill off Loki here with the class disadvantage and triggering superiority. And the next defender is going to be a Kamala Khan, who is going to be a cosmic champion, and we're going to bring in a tech champion that is going to be Vision here. Now Vision, you can use it in 2 different ways. You can either just use parry and use special 1s or special 2s to keep the defender power drained, and you can just try to gain power and throw your specials. You can either go with the route of the specials, or you can just keep dexing and you can go with the route of the passive Furies, just like Ghost. So if you use more of parry and you do not use dex much, you can use your specials, but if you use dex a lot, then you will lose your power and then you will gain more fury. So it's upon you what kind of fighting style you want to do. I like doing a mix of both. I usually keep an eye on the destructive feedback timer and stay away when it's yellow, when it's active, and it grays out, then I go in and attack Kamala Khan, and the fight goes very simply and easily. You can use other tech champions as well. Another great champion for this whole path is going to be your Gilly 2099, along with Star-Lord and also champions like Rocket Raccoon. But remember, with Gilly 2099 you will not get those 100 hits bonuses, because you will not be able to kill off opponent with special 3, but still with all the stacking furies with cut your losses, you will be easily doing a lot of damage with Gilly 2099 as well. And the last defender is going to be Thor Jane Foster. Again, she is pretty easy to deal with. Her specials can be easily evaded. This path is more about playing around the destructive feedback node than the defenders. The defenders are pretty easy and their specials are very easily evadable and they give you enough openings. It's all about having the timing right and playing between the active and the passive phase of destructive feedback. So if you get a handle on that, it's a pretty easy path. The only thing I would suggest you with Thor Jane Foster is to keep her to an SP2. Her SP1 can be sometimes not evaded because of the spacing and it can clip you and give you quite some damage together with destructive feedback. So just keep her to an SP2, and if you're not comfortable, stay back when the destructive feedback timer is activated, and once it goes deactivated you can go attack again. So it's upon your choice how you want to do. I usually go in and fight during the destructive feedback as well, just to get the fights finished off quicker. Now the boss is going to be Immortal Abomination. In the last video we did it with Vision with her SP1 spam. This time around we'll take a different approach without power control but with a poison immune Hyperion. So what we will do, we will easily just build up to SP1s and SP2s and throw them. Because of Hurt Locker we have to alternate them, and also there is going to be a meltdown timer that will be passed on to the defender or the attacker depending who uses a special attack. Now with Hyperion it's easy to keep throwing that meltdown timer back to the opponent because you get a lot of specials. You just need to keep an eye on that meltdown timer does give you a lot of damage, but that's okay. You can always heal back up with that petrified debuff that you have, and if you're running willpower that will give you health back and you can always get back to full. You will notice that during this fight as well. Another thing you need to be wary about is the enhanced special one from Immortal Abomination. Now the animation is also really long and it is also unblockable, so the only way you can deal with it is to swipe back and try to dex it. But if you do swipe back, you might get cornered, and when you're cornered, Immortal Abomination can really kill you fast. To avoid all of that, try to have some specials with you all the time. Since I am running Hyperion, I will try to have a special 2 or a special 3 with me, and I can always create space out of it. Now I just need to be careful not to throw the same kind of special 2 times in the row to avoid the damage. So imagine you get that damage plus the meltdown damage, that will probably kill you off. So it's just a patient fight. You need to be careful and to not mess up with the timing on the specials, and once you have that down you will not be poisoned, so that threat will not be there. So it's just a tanky Immortal Abomination that you have to take down with your specials and your hits, and that's about it guys. You can easily bring him down. I hope you guys really enjoyed the tips and tricks. I am just trying to finish off 7.2 very quick now, so we'll be trying to put up videos every day. So stay tuned to the channel guys, and if you enjoy the videos and if you enjoy the tips and tricks, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications and leave a comment down below. All of that really helps me out a lot and helps me grow the channel. And apart from that guys, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.